Jan Pragati Education Society, Professor Amit Roy, Principal, Columbia Institute of Pharmacy, Professor Shailendra Shukla, Coordinator of the program, and Professor Ravindra Pandey, Co-Coordinator of the program. It is well said that Atithi Devo Bhavo. So, at the initiation, I request Shri Kishore Jadwani, Chairman, Jan Pragati Education Society, to welcome our chief guest, Professor Shailendra Saraf sir, with floral bouquet. So, please. I request Shri Harjeet Singh Vora to again welcome our chief guest, Professor Shailendra Saraf sir, with sapling. Thank you, sir. I again request Shri Kishore Jadwani to welcome our guest of honor, Dr. P.R. Vavia sir, with bouquet. Thank you, sir. I request Shri Harjeet Singh Vora to welcome again our guest of honor, Dr. P.R. Vavia, with sapling. Thank you, sir. Now I request Professor Shivshankar Shukla to welcome Shri Kishore Jadwani with sapling. Thank you, sir. I request Professor Ravindra Pandey to welcome Shri Harjeet Singh Vora with sapling. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. S. Prakash Rao to welcome our principal, Professor Amit Roy, with sapling. I request Mr. Swapnil Lal to welcome Professor Shivshankar Shukla, the coordinator of this program, with sapling. Thank you, sir. I request Mr. Gunjan Kalyani to welcome Professor Ravindra Pandey, co-coordinator of this training program. Thank you, sir. I now also welcome the coordinators from Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai, in this program. Our heartily welcome to Dr. Ratnesh Jain, who is the coordinator, and Mr. Jayadev Bhatt, who is the program manager from ICT, Mumbai. Although they are not present here, but they have provided a virtual message for us, which will be displayed after the inaugural program. Moving ahead, I would like to welcome all the participants for being the part of this program. We wish and hope that the experience and stay at our premises will be fruitful and knowledgeable, both theoretically and practically. Our deep welcome to all the delegates, faculties, colleagues, students, research scholars, and everyone who are present in this hall. A pessimist complains about the wind, an optimist tries to change it, and a leader adjusts the sail. To give a red carpet welcome to everyone assembled here, may I now request our chairman, Shri Kishore Jadwani ji, to address the gathering. Sir, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Honorable Dr. Shailendra Saraf, Professor, Institute of Pharmacy, Pandit Ravishankar Shukla University, Chief Guest of today's function, Honorable Professor P.R. Vavia, Sir, Director, ICT, IOC, Bhubaneswar, Guest of Honor of today's function, my childhood friend, Harjeet Singh Pura, Secretary, Jan Pragati Education Society, respected Dr. Amit Roy, Principal, Columbia Institute of Pharmacy, Professor Shivshankar Shukla, Coordinator of the program, respected Professor Ravindra Pandey, co-coordinator of this program, honorable faculty members, delegates, and dear students. I feel honored to welcome you all in an inaugural session of training program on the most sophisticated instrument for scientific research and biomedical applications. We are thankful to DST for giving us the opportunity to organize this program. After 2 long years of COVID, we are organizing any program physically. In my opinion, face-to-face learning and training is far better than virtual training and learning. I request Principal Dr. Amit Rai to organize many more programs like this to cover up the loss of last 2 years. We are really feel honored and privileged to have my friend Professor Shailendra as chief guest of today's function. He is role model and guiding force for the pharmacy professional of not only this region but entire nation. I have witnessed transformation of Professor Shailendra from a sincere student of Dr. Ravishankar University, Sagar, to role model and one of the eminent pharma professional of the country. We also feel equally honored to have with us Professor P.R. Vevia sir as guest of honor. I congratulate Professor Ravishankar Shukla, coordinator of this program, Professor Ravindra Pandey, co-coordinator of this program, Dr. Amit Rai, principal, and Team Columbia for organizing this program. For coming 7 days, you will have opportunity to discuss and share the knowledge. I wish this training program every success, and I wish happy stay and fruitful learning in coming 7 days. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the welcome note. A leader is like a shepherd. He stays behind the folk, letting the most nimble go out ahead, whereupon the others follow, not realizing that all along they are being directed from behind. We have such a leader with us, and he is none other than our patron and secretary, Jan Pragati Education Society, Shri Harjeet Singh Bhurar. May I now request sir to share an overview about the program. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Vinaji. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to one and all present here. We are honored to have Professor Shailendra, the chief guest of this inaugural session of 1 week long STUTI program sponsored by DST. Respected Professor Bhaviaji, guest of honor, Professor Amit Roy, Principal, Columbia Institute of Pharmacy, respected Shri Kishore Jadwani ji, Chairman Jan Pragati Education Society, Professor Ravishankar Shukla ji, coordinator of this program, Professor Ravindra Pandey ji, co-coordinator of this program, respected delegates from across the country, I welcome you all in this very appreciable program by DST. As we know, this has been designed to utilize technological infrastructure available across us to strengthen and upgrade the knowledge within you. Columbia Institute of Pharmacy is organizing Department of Science and Technology sponsored STUTI, the synergistic training program utilizing the scientific and technological infrastructure. The 7 days training program on training on the sophisticated analytical instruments for scientific research and biomedical applications in collaboration with Institute of Chemical and Technology, Mumbai, from December 12th, that is today, till the 18th of this month. This scheme is intended to build human resource and its knowledge capacity across the country. This scheme envisages a hands-on training program and sensitization of the state-of-the-art equipment as well as sharing while ensuring transparent access of science and technological facilities. The training will be conducted on a hub and spoke model approach, where the Department of Science and Technology is the apex body, and as the project management unit, we have Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai, and Columbia Institute of Pharmacy is the host institute for coordinating and imparting the training in this smooth and efficient manner. Our institute has DST funding for developing R&D infrastructure under various schemes of DST such as FEAST. So we are fortunate enough to conduct the DST STUTI program. Our institute has prior experience in organizing such trainings and experience of running and R&D facilities. We have DST FEAST funded instruments, namely high performance liquid chromatography, SIMADJU I series, supercritical extraction unit, and spray dryer. So I hope in this coming 1 week you will be getting very nice sessions by experts from across the country, and the workshops and the lectures simultaneously you will be facing. So I appeal you all to be most interactive and don't hesitate to ask questions regarding all these equipments so that you can learn upon and you can part it off to the students you will be interacting with in your classes in various states you are coming from. So I hope very success of this beautiful program by DST. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts with us. When you have got something to prove, there is nothing greater than challenge. The most important part of education is proper training. The beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it away from you. So is the motive of this training program. With these lines, I now request Professor Ravishankar Shukla, the coordinator of this program, to discuss in brief about the theme of this DST STUTI sponsored training program. Sir, please.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Respected Honorable Professor Shailendra, my teacher, my guide, my mentor, respected Honorable Professor P.R. Babia sir, respected Kishore Jadwani sir, respected Harjit Singh Hura sir, respected Professor Amit Roy sir, respected Professor Ravin Pandey sir, and all dear participants, faculties from the host institutions, I welcome you all. With an enormous gratification, Columbia Institute of Pharmacy, Raipur is organizing DST STUTI program, 7 days program, training program on training on the sophisticated analytical instruments for scientific research and biomedical application in the collaboration with the ICT Mumbai from December 12 to 18, 2022. We aim at providing a platform where highly ambitious mind will get an opportunity to show their abilities. Pharmacy is a multidisciplinary field of science that specializes in medical treatment, drug studies and their development, along with use and effect from the viewpoint of natural sciences, health sciences, all together with social sciences and Economy. There were over 250 participants for the DST STUTI programs from all over the India, out of which initially 60 participants were shortlisted, and in the final stage we have 32 participants for the training program, which are from all over the country, making this workshop as a mini Bharat. This program will provide hands-on training all the way through support from the DST STUTI to facilitate the workforce in the field of sophisticated analytical instrumentation for scientific research. On the first day of the 7-day training program, we have fortunate to have with us respected Professor Shailendra Saraf, Professor and Director, HRDC, Pandit Ravishankar Shukla University as a chief guest, and Professor P.R. Vavia Sir, Director, ICT, Bhubaneswar as a guest of honor, and keynote speaker as well, and workshop followed by the workshop Dr. Veena Gidwani, Associate Professor, Columbia Institute of Pharmacy. On the second day, we have lecture of Professor Dhirendra Kaushik, Dean and Chairman, Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Gurugram University, followed by the workshop Professor Ravindra Kumar Pandey, and workshop by the Biored Company, providing the spray dryer. On the third day of training program, we have with us Dr. Dilip Gore, Director, Sai Biosystem Lab Private Limited, Nagpur, followed by Dr. Ajazuddin, Principal, Runta College of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research, Bhilai. On the fourth day of the training program, we have with us Dr. Ambar Vyas, Associate Professor, Pandit Ravishankar Shukla University, and then we have Dr. Nagin Singh Chauhan, Senior Scientific Officer, Direct Testing Laboratories and Research Center, Ayush, Raipur. On the fifth day, we have Dr. Sanjay Sharma, Associate Professor, NMIMS, and Dr. Sanjay Dhairwal, Professor, University Institute of Pharmacy, Pandit Ravishankar Shukla University. On the sixth day, we have with Dr. Rishi Paliwal, Assistant Professor from Department of Pharmacy, IGNTU, Amarkantak, Madhya Pradesh, followed by Dr. Trilochan Sapati, Professor, University College of Pharmacy, Ayush University, Raipur. On the concluding day, we have with us Professor Manjunath Ghate, Professor, National Forensic Science University, Gandhinagar, and Dr. Deepen Singh, ERC Chairman, PCI, from Ravishankar Shukla University, Raipur. And this program will conclude with the distribution of the certificates to the participation. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing the details of entire 7 days program. It is well said that intellectual growth should commence at birth and cease only at death. It is a matter of proud privilege to have Professor P.R. Vavia sir as the guest of honor for this inaugural program of DST STUTI sponsored training program in collaboration with ICT Mumbai. Professor P.R. Vavia sir is currently working as director at ICT Bhubaneswar. Sir did his PhD in pharmaceutical sciences and technology. Sir has to his credit more than 150 research publications in international and peer-reviewed journals. Adding to his credits, Sir has visited various countries like Netherlands, Germany, Italy, Japan, China, and Australia for scientific interactions. Sir has been also awarded with various prestigious awards like Best Teacher Award, Distinguished Teachers Award, Incentives to Meritorious Teachers, and the Award for Biological Science and Technology Category Award. Adding to more to his credits, Sir is having 25 technologies which are successfully commercialized under his name. Sir is life member of various professional bodies. With this short introduction, I now request our guest of honor, Professor P.R. Vavia sir, to share his thoughts. Sir, please.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Honorable Chief Guest for today's function, Professor Shailendra Saraf sir. Shri Kishore Jadwani sir, Chairman of JPS. Shri Harjit Singh Haura, Secretary of JPS. The principal of this college, Principal Amit Roy sir, Professor Ravishankar Shukla, my faculty colleagues from this institute and other institutes, and dear delegates. The theme of this conference you must have already thought of now, how you will be going for next 5 days or 6 days, and what is that learning which you will be having. And maybe see, the purpose of these conferences which you attend, it is not just to avail that certificate. And nowadays we say that these workshops will add on to your promotions, and I don't think so. You should look at from that angle. Today the world is changing. You try to reach out, attend many more conferences like this at this age. I am sure after every conferences you will have learning. Okay. In fact, what I suggest to all of you is, in a year, at least take 2 training programs every time with the new equipments. Okay. It is, see, till the end, till we retire as a faculty, it is always a learning. In fact, after the retirement also there is a learning. Many of the professors which I see after retirement, they still work, and whatever experiences which they have gained, it is always useful for the next generation, and that is what they are imparting. So it is not just limited to your teaching. In fact, you as a faculty, you should learn more and more. Then only it will be useful, because it is, in fact, not like our time when we were teaching students. Students were of different level. Nowadays I see you get mix of students. There are some students very difficult for a teacher to train them, and we really need to change our style of teaching, and maybe get them in the class and see to it that they come for the next lecture also. So it's always a challenging. So it all depends upon how you take it. So today I always say that teachers is the one who has lots of knowledge in that subject, and also has an art to get that student in the class, teach them, pass on that knowledge which a teacher required to give. And if you are not prepared, I am sure that generation will be of no use. And especially after COVID, 2 years, when I asked my master student, "Aapne dissolution kiya hai?" They said, "We have not touched the dissolution apparatus because of COVID." And under COVID, they go on giving a lot of excuses, that sir, COVID tha, to ye nahi kiya, ye lab nahi kiya, wo lab nahi kiya. Now, it is a greater challenge for all of us as a teacher, that we really need to work hard and get them back. Okay. And now coming to this topic, what I suggest to all of you is, as I said, start taking training in number of analytical tools. The days are likely to change, believe me, after 1 decade or 2 decades. Whatever basics we are learning today, of course, it will remain. But today, if you see how pharmaceutical industries are gearing up, most of them, they say they want to use the mobile phone and come out with the newer and newer technology. So I was interacting with some of the business development group, and people, they say that the years to come, people will come to know what diseases they are suffering on their mobile, and some of the diseases which you can treat by using some of the radiations which can be passed through the mobile. And every industry will have a record if you take the medicines of their company. So there is going to be a big data available, and then a lot of artificial intelligence. And so we really need to get that component in pharmacy, how one can analyze the data, artificial intelligence, and then bring our pharmacy profession to the next height. So I'm sure you people have a lot of challenges, because you are going to remain in the profession for next 2 decades, and there are a lot of new things are likely to come. So my request and suggestion to all of you is, wherever these type of conferences are held, whether it is national, international, Okay, try and attend that, not just for the certificate, but for the knowledge. And it will bring our profession to a newer height. Okay, with this I will once again thank you, the organizer, for giving me an opportunity to speak to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraya, Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Remember one thing, one book, one pen, one child and one teacher can change the world. Professor Shailendra Saraf, our chief guest of today's program. Sir, you are not only our teacher, you are mentor, guide, philosopher and everything molded into a single person. He needs no introduction, still I may be permitted to give a brief about his accomplishments, achievements, attainments in his chosen field. Rather, enlisting his accomplishment of somebody like our honorable chief guest is actually an accomplishment for us. Professor Shailendra Saraf sir is well known in the field of education in India and abroad. He is one of the eminent personality involved in upgrading the education system. Sir has 30 years of long teaching, research and administrative experience. Sir has guided number of meritorious PhD and M.Pharm students. Sir completed his graduation, post-graduation and doctorate in philosophy from Dr. H.S. Gaur Vishwavidyalaya, Sagar. Currently, Sir is working as Senior Professor and Director HRDC at Pandit Ravishankar Shukla University, Raipur. Sir has served as Vice Chancellor of Hemchand Yadav Vishwavidyalaya, Durg, Chhattisgarh. He has also served as Vice President of Pharmacy Council of India, New Delhi. Sir was instrumental in establishing the Chhattisgarh first Drug Information Center with the Chhattisgarh State Pharmacy Council. Sir is actively involved in research activities from last 3 decades and working in the field of herbal technology and medicinal plant research. Sir has successfully completed several research projects supported by the extramural funding agencies like UGC, AICT, MP Cost, CG Cost, DST and many more. Sir, in his long and wide span of career, has supervised more than 20 PhD candidates. He has to his credits more than 200 books, publications in national and international journals of repute. Sir is also a life member of various professional bodies. With this short introduction, I now request our chief guest, Professor Shailendra Saraf sir, to share his experience with us. So please.
Honorable Professor Bhavya sir, my friends, Dr. Harji Singh Hura, Shri Kishore Jadwani ji, my friends Dr. Amit Roy, Dr. Ravishankar Shukla, Dr. Ravind Pandey, Dr. Prakash Rao, and most important today's participant for this important event. It's really very difficult. I would rather suggest to circulate the introduction, because after a very elaborate introduction, it's very difficult to speak. So still, thank you very much for my introduction. But most important, nice words by your own friends. So whatever Dr. Kishore Jadwani has mentioned, I think he mean it. Thank you very much. And it's really my proud privilege to be here. It's a definite honor as well to welcome Professor Bhavya in this institute in Chhattisgarh and to all of you. This STUTI really is a wider sense is a very innovative program, because I can recall my days when I was in the laboratories and active research. So whenever you have to start your research, you have to go to refer certain libraries, and your guide will say, book your ticket and stay in Delhi for two months and refer the literature in NML, National Medical Library. After return from Delhi, you are asked to go to CDRI to visit another library for 2 months. After working in a laboratory for a few months, again you are asked to go to CDRI Lucknow, and before that you have to go to NBRI, National Botanical Research Institute, for the authentication of the herbal samples. Then for biological activity, you have to approach the pharmacological division of CDRI. And for any instrumentation, you have to approach certain national laboratories for the instrumentation facilities. Friends, days are gone. Everything is available at your doorstep. Everything is nicely available and seamless facilities are available. And in this line, this STUTI is really next step towards the making the infrastructure expertise available to the young budding professionals and researchers. Here I can say when Dr. Wagia is standing here, this is one role model, being in Delhi, being in ICT. He is a teacher, he is a researcher, and his ability to translate his academic research into commercial value and see the morning light with his product. This type of role model is here before you, and this is the purpose of the DST to organize such program. What they are seeing, you have the infrastructure. What we are victim of the narrative fixed by the Western world that we are introvert, we are not having connect with the industry, and we have no access to the industry and instrumentation facility. Friends, everybody is talking about India. But whether we are really prepared for that? We are now fifth economy in the world. But this is a very dynamic world where we are predicting that we will remain on the top fifth position in the economy. This is next to impossible because no doubt we have achieved a lot as far as the production capacity, scale of facilities available. But we will not be able to command the respect for long if we are not focusing on the innovation instead of invention. We are translating the research and we are producing the discoveries made by the Western world. But the time is there when you have to go for your own discoveries, then only you can consider the respect in times to come. Government India has a very innovative program and very ambitious scheme, that is Make in India. We have to understand why this initiative is required. We have adopted this process patent in 1970, and the world leaders were criticizing the strength and role of the Indian government while adopting the process patent regime at that time, and they were saying there must be great loss as far as the research R&D is concerned in this country, and that has happened. But at that time, the responsibility of the thought leaders were different because things were not available, not affordable. So at that time, the responsibility was different, the target and goal was different, so we have adopted the regime. And immediately in the dawn of this new century, we have again put the signatory of TRIPS, and we are now part of the product patent. For that, this is time to take oath, to take pledge, and come out with a mindset that we are ready to come out with our own discovered products in the market. In the recent past, during pandemic only, we have seen our total indigenous developed engineered vaccine, and most important in this process is the matured behavior of the drug regulatory framework of this country. Another very ambitious regulation was published by Government of India, that is Amendment in Drugs and Cosmetic Act, and this is known as the Phytopharmaceutical Regulation 2015. And if we are really working on those pharmaceuticals, the phytopharmaceutical regulation, we will produce several new inventions in this country. So if you are really thinking about the Make in India, you have to transform yourself from invention to innovation. You have to put a lot of efforts and your energy in the ideation process. You have to think what is the need in the society. There's need to connect with different spaces in your society. Try to understand the need, and based on needs of the society, you have to come out with the different solutions which are needed. You have to go for invention, and you have to produce those inventions into use. Then it will be considered as innovation. We are doing extraordinarily good. I had the opportunity to visit more than 25 universities in the US, and I'm really thrilled to mention here the respect commanded by the graduates of this nation in the Western world. Why? One of the professors said in this university that we are always preferring to have the postdoctoral student from India. So I said, do you have any reservation system? They said, no, we didn't have any formal reservation system, but we make sure somehow at least 50% postdoctoral students are coming from India, just for the reason they are full of ideas. They are just respecting, they are respecting a lot as far as the ideation process of this young generation of this country, but we are not able to translate those, we can say, capacity of the young minds, their ideation into reality. So this is the initiative when we are bound to work in the laboratory, we are bound to work on our own ideation and try to translate those into reality. Friends, when we are talking about economy, when we are talking about the Make in India, we have to always keep eyes on what is happening all around. And I can give only two examples for you. One is recently, I think, the Moderna has filed a lawsuit against Pfizer and BioNTech. And this particular lawsuit is on the violation of the mRNA technology, misuse of mRNA technology by Pfizer and BioNTech, which they have patented in 2010 and 16, if I'm not wrong. That was the time during the pandemic. The biological scientists and biological industry come out and they have produced the solution to the world, and they rather save the world with never before in time frame. They have right from diagnostic to PPE and to these vaccines, and they have given the solution. We were happy that they were working in symbiotic manner. But soon after this pandemic is gone, again this old fighting mode is started. 2 days back, again, the Pfizer has filed a reply to the court, and they said that there is no violation because mRNA technology we are using, we have different protein to use, we have different lipids to use to bind this particular vaccine. But this lawsuit is going on. And believe me, the decision on this particular case must be a landmark in the history of the invention of this country. Because those who are investing a lot, and if they are not getting the due returns in the society, from the society, for the business and the product, why they will go for the research? At the same time, this is one of the because consideration the tips that in case of any pandemic or any crisis, we have right to use this IPR of any agency, any body, or any company. And this was mentioned also. Model has mentioned that we will not claim that this is our creation or our IPR, and will not claim the financial gain. But still they have went to the court because they are again in the old model. So we have to think a lot, because if we really want to survive, we have to think about the innovation, and if you want to command the respect for long, you have to transform yourself into a innovator's move. Next example I would like to give. Another initiative is very recently, I think, launched by this Stanford University. People are thinking something out of box ideas. They are working on microbiome, and they have prepared 100 beautiful designed microbiome with the help of the genetic engineering, and they have put 100 microbes on the particular rat, and this is the initial success, and they have access to those microbiome to engineer, to delete and add or modify those bacteria. And how now they are coming out with a solution. This is microbiome based therapeutics. The world is thinking about, as Dr. Vavi has also mentioned, telephone based smartphone based biomarkers. So a lot of changes are going on. And if I can recall, this particular aspect was foreseen by the leaders of the world. The Pfizer in 2016 have created a CTI, small groups, They have dissolved their existing setup in the industry. Instead of very generic type of R&D, they have divided into a small performance group and they start working on those areas. But a step ahead, Smith Klein, they have start working in a different mode. For the first time, they have come out of the umbrella and they have created Center for Excellence in External Drug Discovery. And this is the mindset. They want to utilize the brain of the academia and they are ready to share the infrastructure and processes of the industry. A small productive unit they have created. This is another mindset they are coming out. And one more important, example to mention here is the start of a Mandi Pharma. This Mandi Pharma is a cooperative technology-based solution given to the industry, and this is amalgamation of 120 pharmaceutical industries working in more than 100 countries. And they have come out with a beautiful molecule. This is anti-fungal drug. And except the America and Japan, they have got the permission also for the intravenous delivery of this antifungal drug. That too in the fast track mode, because they were utilize this knowledge, infrastructure, and everything in a seamless manner. So India want to compete in this direction. So each and every researcher, each and every teacher is supposed to be a leader instead of a teacher or a researcher. Their approach should be solution oriented. Their approach should be a collaborative. And what has happened in the last 70 years, we start loving to remain in the same small segment. This is time to come out of your shell, connect with other peers, and whosoever is required to be on board. There is no specialization, there is no micro specialization, but interdisciplinary or rather interdisciplinary approach is required. No prerequisite eligibility, but those who are able to contribute in the translation of your idea into reality should be on board. This is the requirement. So with these words, because if you want to do something, you cannot remain in isolation. You are supposed to be contemporary. आपको पता होना चाहिए कि दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है. यदि आपको वो पता है तभी आप उससे कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं. और ये उस कनेक्ट करने के बाद में आपके दिमाग में एक जो मेंटल इनहिबिशन है कि हम इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन पे कैसे काम करेंगे, हम नई रिसर्च कैसे करेंगे. आप ही लोगों में से बैठे जो ब्राइट आईज यहाँ बैठी हैं, वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड में जाते हैं, वो इनोवेशंस कर रहे हैं, आइडियाज ला रहे हैं, रिस्पेक्ट कमांड कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इस एनवायरमेंट में वो नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. तो इस फ्रेमवर्क को तोड़ने के लिए स्तुति का ये बहुत एक अभिनव प्रयोग है. और आप लोगों में से यदि हमारे बीच में 10-20 भी जो ऐसे लीडर्स पैदा हो जाते हैं, तो पूरे दुनिया इस देश का जो साइंस का एक जो फ्रेमवर्क है उसको चेंज करके रख देंगे. और इस पर्टिकुलर स्कीम में इसका जो सेंट्रल थीम ये है, यदि DST ने आपको इंस्ट्रूमेंट दिया है, किसी नेशनल फंडिंग एजेंसी ने आपको इंस्ट्रूमेंट दिया है, तो वो आपसे एक अंडरटेकिंग लेते हैं. दिस इज द फैसिलिटी क्रिएटेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. दिस कैन बी यूज्ड बाय एनीबॉडी, बट दैट वाज ओनली ऑन पेपर. With this STUTI, they are making this particular facility available to all of you, and by that way, if the institution is coming forward, they will develop the expertise, they will develop the manpower, and they will connect with different spaces working different ideology, and that way, if they are able to come out with a single product, this must be the greatest achievement after their existence as an academic institution. तो यदि आप लोग इस डायरेक्शन में काम करते हैं, तो हमें लगता है कि आपको इंस्टीट्यूट की जो हम सभी लोग अपने घरों में इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइसेस को चलाते हैं, लेकिन जब भी हम लेबोरेटरी में जाके इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन को चलाने शुरू तो हमें अंदर से हाथ पैर कांपते हैं. ये केवल मेंटल इनहिबिशन है. ये केवल वी आर विक्टिम ऑफ द नैरेटिव फिक्स्ड बाय द अदर्स. सो हमें ये कोशिश करना है you have to burn the spirit of pride that you are in a pharmaceutical process, you are an Indian, and you want to contribute something. And if you have this much of pride, you will be able to contribute something for the betterment of this beautiful earth, planet, for generations to come. और जहाँ तक इस संस्था की बात है, इस छोटे से स्टेट के बनने के बाद में जहाँ पर उस समय मध्य प्रदेश के उस हिस्से में 70 कॉलेजेस हुआ करते थे, यहाँ पर एक कॉलेज हुआ करता था। इस स्टेट बनने के बाद में यहाँ प्राइवेट कॉलेजेस की आवश्यकता थी। हमारे मित्र जो अपने अपने व्यवसाय में बहुत सक्षम तरीके से लगे थे, अपनी उनकी ब्रेड एंड बटर के सोर्स अलग थे, लेकिन हम लोग की रिक्वेस्ट पे उन्होंने एक फार्मेसी इंस्टीट्यूशन शुरू किया। एंड द मेन focus of this institution is not to make the money, it's not a commercial approach, but to turn back something to the society and to own profession. With these words, it's a spirit, they have established this institution. They are the best. But आप बहुत अच्छे इंस्टीट्यूशन हैं, लेकिन समाज की अपेक्षाएं आपके कॉम्पिटेंस के हिसाब से और ज़्यादा बढ़ती हैं। आपको ये रियलाइज करना पड़ेगा, आप कभी भी कंफर्ट जोन में नहीं जा पाएंगे। आप एक बार एकेडमिक इंस्टीट्यूशन आपने शुरू की है, दिस इज द डायनेमिक रिक्वायरमेंट, एवरी टाइम यू हैव टू इवॉल्व एंड हमेशा आपको लीडर बने रहना है। और यदि आप एक लीडर बन के अपना काम करते हैं तो आप अकेले अपने इंस्टीट्यूशन का नहीं बल्कि इस प्रदेश का और इस देश का भी उत्थान में अपना योगदान दे रहे हैं। तो मैं पुनः आयोजकों को इस सब के लिए बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं और इसी आशा के साथ में कि ये अंत नहीं है लेकिन शुरुआत की अंत है केवल। इट्स नॉट एन एंड बट एंड ऑफ बिगिनिंग। कीप ऑन डूइंग गुड थिंग फॉर द प्रोफेशन एंड आई एम श्योर हम लोग एक बहुत सुनहरे भविष्य की ओर बढ़ रहे हैं, लेकिन हम सबको इंश्योर करना है कि उस सुनहरे भविष्य में हम भी कह सकें कि इतना छोटा सा कंट्रीब्यूशन हमारा भी है। ये हम पूरी अपनी एक प्लेज करके जाएं, एक शपथ लेके जाएं कि हम छोटा सा कम से कम एक कंट्रीब्यूशन, एक इतने बड़े यज्ञ में एक आहुति हमारी भी होगी। इस सब के साथ में आपको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं इस कार्यक्रम की और साथ ही आपके उज्जवल भविष्य की भी। नमस्कार।
Thank you, sir, for inspiring, motivating, and enlightening us with your words of wisdom. It is well said that, tell me and I forget, teach me, I may remember, but involve me, I will definitely learn. Based on this concept, learning is a never-ending process. It never exhausts the mind. Some of the faculties of Columbia Institute of Pharmacy have written and published a book named Pharmacy Exam Expert Crackers, which is for the GPAT exams of B.Pharm final year and third year students. I request our dignitaries to inaugurate and release the book. So please. This book contains theoretical as well as objective portion along with the last 5 year model questions. This book will serve as a guide to the pharmacy students. I request Professor Ravindra Pandey sir to come on the stage. So please. The authors of the book are Professor Shukla, Professor Ravindra Pandey, Dr. Ambar Vyas, Ms. Swati Dubey and Ms. Monica Bhairam. This is the team effort where they have prepared a book for preparing for the GPAT exams and proceeding for the further studies in M.Pharm. Thank you, sir. Moving ahead, I now request Shri Kishore Jadwani, Chairman, Jan Pragati Education Society, to present memento to our chief guest, Professor Shailendra Saraf sir, as a token of gratitude. Sir, please. Thank you, sir. I now request Shri Harjit Singh Hura, Secretary, Jan Pragati Education Society, to present memento to our guest of honor, Dr. P.R. Vavia sir, as a token of gratitude. So please. This is not the end, this is the starting of our training program. But to wind up the formal inaugural program, I would request our principal, Professor Amit Roy, to propose the vote of thanks. So please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll propose my vote of thanks by first and foremost thanking Professor Shailendra Saraf, my guide and mentor. Professor Pradeep Vavia, we are very happy to have you here. The DST and ICT for sponsoring this program. My management for encouraging us endlessly for organizing such type of programs. Professor Shukla and Professor Pandey, they have always been instrumental in upgrading the institution since the day they have joined. All the delegates for coming to Raipur. The team Columbia, we have a very good team here, and I have seen that they have tried their best to make all the conferences, programs, and every program we have succeeded. I also thank everyone who have directly or indirectly helped us to make this program a great success. Wish all the best to all the participants, and I hope they will have a great stay, they will enjoy each other's company, and moreover, they will have some very important takeaways after this completion of the program. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now request our dignitaries to take their seat off the dais so that we can play the video message provided by the coordinators of ICT Mumbai.